Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'm gonna talk about two rifles. Basically, both of them are DMR types rifle, and I own them over 2 years, almost 3 years, and have some range time with them. So I think it's a good time to talk a little bit about them. This one is SCAR20s, and this one is HK G28. But essentially, this is MR762. I just upgraded the handguard, the scope, the mount, and the stock, and do the serial coding. I remark to G28 to finish the look. I love the looking, but I also spend a ton of money for everything. And will that worth it? I'm gonna talk about it later. All right, let's start from head to toe. So for SCAR20s, you get a 20-inch barrel. For HK G28 or MR762, you only get a 16.5-inch barrel. I much prefer the 20-inch barrel just for a little bit more velocity and more accuracy. And the flash header, I use G28 style flash header. Basically, it's longer version of A2 birdcage flash header. And for SCAR20s, I use the factory's flash header. But I have to point out, if you try to put a can on any of those rifle, you probably need to change the muzzle device. When you do that, you find that the thread pitch on HK's rifle, MR762, is really weird. It's like M15/1. It might be very popular in Europe or Germany, but not so much in US market. So it's gonna be a headache, at least for right now in the COVID, and it's really hard to source one. And it's much easier to find a flash header for even SCAR20s. I really wish in the future HK rifles can use very common thread pitch over here in US. Also, for even SCAR's barrel, those are chrome line barrel. However, HK MR762, those not chrome line. I mean, HK claim it's more accurate, but be honest with you, I cannot really agree with that. Technically, it might be, but to me, to most people, you probably not be able to tell the difference. So in that case, it's better to get a chrome line barrel. And both barrel are very heavy profile to me, so I think it's pretty good because those are DMR. You want a heavy barrel to improve the accuracy, obviously. And for SCAR, on SCAR17s, a lot of people complain you really don't have too much Picatinny rail space, but in SCAR20s, you have plenty. Same thing for the MR762, I replaced the factory handguard with G28 style handguard. It's really cool. You have the flipped front side. You have plenty of Picatinny rail space. The only downside is it's very expensive. It will cost you about anywhere between $1,200 to like maybe $1,600, depends on where you get that piece. It's very, very expensive one. But it looks cool. If you want a G28 clone, you have to get one. Again, those I believe from Europe, so very limited quantity. That's why it's really hard to source one. If you're looking for one now, good luck on that. And for SCAR20s, all the upper receiver and handguard one piece. I really prefer this design compared with this, the upper receiver and handguard separate piece in MR762. And a lot of people are worried about the screws, those small tiny screws on the SCAR receiver. I shoot a lot of SCAR 16 and 17. All of them have those screws on the upper receiver and never ever had any issue with them. So I think you don't have to worry about that. Also, both of them, they have cuts here. Those designed for adjustable gas block. And the SCAR20s, you have gas block. So when you put the can on, you can swap the sighting to the surprise sighting. However, for the MR762, you don't have adjustable gas block. If you want to have one, you can purchase them, but I think that's gonna be about 400 to 600 bucks on the gas block. So is that worth it? For me, I don't plan to spend money on that because I don't plan to put a can on this rifle. So I leave it with the factory MR762 gas block. But again, for SCAR, they already come with adjustable gas block. I mean, it's always better to have it, but you just don't need it. Then when you need it, then figure out you don't have it, right? So for the money, I think definitely FN does better job. Also, let's move on. For SCAR20s, for all SCAR, they have those screws there, so you can detach the barrel really easy. For the HK MR762, not so much. Basically, it's a AR tap rifle. It's not easy to remove the barrel and quick change the barrel and those things. No, it's not that easy. So I much prefer the SCAR's design here. Then we move forward to the charging handle. This SCAR20s I purchased like almost 3 years ago. It's older version, so this charging handle is reciprocating. But to me, because I have a lot of experience on SCAR platform, so it's really not bothering me so much. But right now they have new SCARs. The reciprocating charging handle has been removed, so problem solved. So I think that'll be a perfect choice for a DMR. And for G28, it's just like AR, any AR. They have a charging handle back there. Everyone is familiar with it, so it's a good choice to the most people. Both of them have the bolt release right here in the same position. But SCAR has MB mag release. I think it should be a basic feature for any rifle in the future. I mean, from now on. I know right now it's HK417, they have MB mag release, but on G28s, what I have, MR762, they don't have the MB mag release, which is sucks. But I mean, it's probably not gonna bother you so much because everyone gonna most likely use the mag release here. Is fast, but how about if you a left-hand user? So it's better to have MB mag release, right? For the safe selector, again, MR762 is AR style, is like 90 degrees throw, and on the SCAR20s you have a 45 degree, which is great. I much prefer the safe. It's like 45 degrees throw. It's much easier to control. Also, in the SCAR, the lower receiver is polymer. Makes the whole rifle is a little bit lighter, especially when you have a setup like this, like a G28. It's really heavy because the handguard and the scope is really heavy. So for now, based on the setup here, this G28 clone is about, like, I'll say 1.5 to 2 pounds heavier than SCAR20s. But normally when you get a heavier rifle, it's gonna help you to control the recoil, but not the same story here because SCAR20s is more front heavier. in the hand. So I think the recoil is lighter on SCAR20s. Even this rifle overall is lighter than G28's clone. So I think SCAR20 is amazing. And also, when you purchase rifle, most people gonna purchase some separate magazines. In this case, SCAR gonna be better because those magazines, you can find them in any gun stores or online. It's really easy to source, and these are cheaper than polymer magazine from HK. This magazine, I have to say, they look amazing and very well made, but those almost double the price on the SCAR's magazine. And if you have multiple SCAR, like you have SCAR17, SCAR20s, they share the magazine. However, MR762's magazine, you can only use them on the MR762 type rifle, which sucks, but it looks super cool. So if you decide to purchase MR762, you have to think about the cost on, on the magazines. Those are probably $80 to $100, depends on where you get it. Very, very expensive ones. All right. Then let's talk about the trigger. To the shooters, no matter you experienced one or the average one like me, the trigger plays a big part when you try to hit the target in long range. For the SCAR20s, you have a gaslit trigger. It's amazing. It's amazing. I have to tell you guys, it's amazing trigger, and you don't have to spend extra money on it because it comes with SCAR20s. And that trigger is like a 2.5 or 3 pounds pull. It's really light and breaks super clean. See, it's super clean. And I really appreciate the light trigger. It's really helped me a lot when do the target shooting. However, on MR762, what comes with it is a mil spec trigger. It's really heavy, but I mean, it breaks still clean, but it's really heavy. I don't really like it. And if you want to upgrade to the gaslit trigger, first of all, again, it's really hard to source one. Second, even you find one, it's gonna be very, very expensive. I don't know, it's probably running about 400-ish. It's gonna be very, very expensive right now. So again, for the money, SCAR20s wins. Okay, there's one more thing I want to mention on the safety. For SCARs, when the hammer is dropped, you're not able to put a selector to the safe position unless you rack charging handle, and then you can put it on the safe position. On all the G28s, I mean the MR762 or MR556, MR223, you can put the selector to the safe even when the hammer is dropped. So, which is great because I always prefer the selector is in the safe position no matter what when you don't need it. So I mean, it's a great feature. Hopefully in the future all the rifle can do that. You probably have to say when the hammer drop, it doesn't matter, it's unsafe for now, but it's just me. I much prefer it's able to put it unsafe all the time, no matter what. Okay, then we can notice that there are some loops for the sling. So you have 3 here, you have 2 at the front. It's 5 in total, which is great, but on the MR762, you don't have any sling loop here on the receiver. You have them on the stock. For the G28 stock, you have them here, on one on each side, but nothing at the front. I think SCAR20 overall just is better design. All right. So let's compare those 2 rifle stocks. That's the big difference. All right. On SCAR20 stock is metal, and on G28 style stock is polymer. Both of them has a cheek riser, but the difference is for SCARs you can adjust by hand However, on HKs, you have to have Allen wrench to adjust it. You have to loose it up, then find the proper height, then tighten it up. I mean, I don't like bringing an Allen wrench with me all the time. Probably not a big issue because once it's set, it should stay there forever. But I mean, I just want to adjust it whenever I need without any tool. So I think SCARs is better design. For G28 style stock, basically is a better AR stock because you can pull it out and then you can do some really tiny adjustment on the length of the pull, which is amazing. But I don't think many people need them. But if they does, it's really gonna be appreciated for that. It's nice. And on the SCAR20s, you can just simply pull it out and push that button, pull it back. It's very easy. And the main difference is right here. The SCAR20s, you have some Picatinny reel on the stock. Then you are able to put a monopod on the stock. I mean, this thing really helps you a lot when you do the shooting because it helps you to stable the whole weapon system. It really helps you a lot. If you ever use them, you know what I'm talking about. So I highly recommend all the SCAR20s owner to have this piece. It's really help you a lot when you do the shooting. However, on the G28 stock, you don't have such option. You don't have Picatinny reel, so I don't believe you can put anything like a monopod on the stock. Again, that is older design, and with a monopod, it will not look like G28 anymore. So I'm fine with that. But I have to say, for the performance, it definitely is better with a monopod. Let me show you the result from the range. I went to the gun range the other day. I shoot 5 groups on 100 yard. This is the SCAR20s result. You can see it's a very decent grouping. I was using Norma Tactical 308 round, 147 grain. It's not match rifle. It's cheap ammo, but quality one. So I mean, it did great. Basically, it's like one MOA gun, or some of them you can see is sub MOA. With good ammo, like match ammo, is definitely a sub MOA rifle. I saw some YouTube video and a lot of guys complain the accuracy. I don't know why. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe FN has some issue on the QC, and I simply get a better quality rifle. I don't know, but to me, it's definitely a sub MOA gun. And again, I'm not an experienced shooter. For me, I can shoot like one MOA, and to a lot of experienced guys, I think it's really easy to push the result to sub MOA, no problem. All right, here's the result for the MR762. Again, it's way worse than the result from the SCAR20s. But to be honest with you, I'm not gonna blame on the rifle. Again, because without a monopod, to me, it's really hard to stabilize the gun the whole time. It's simply hard. So I'll say MR762 probably as accurate as SCAR20s, but it just need more practice. With being said, if you're not gonna shoot SCAR20s pretty well, you're not going to perform good on MR762. That's the truth. So to me, SCAR20s is way easier to shoot and hit target. Even the G28 clone spend probably about $9K to $10K, and this thing only cost me 4K plus scope, probably 5K, almost double the price on the SCAR20s. Still, SCAR20 is gonna perform way better in my hand. For the money, definitely SCAR20s. But if you are die-hard HK fans, G28 is the way to go. And that's all I want to say on both rifle. If you have any question, feel free to leave comments below. And have a good weekend, guys.